West Chatham Apartments with James, who is a incredible housing advocate and organizer. And so we were just talking about resident councils, which is a big issue in all of the SAHA or Opportunity Home San Antonio public housing buildings. And so do you just want to sort of what you were just telling me about, you know, what it takes to have good resident councils and leadership?
Yeah, what takes a good people for resident council is people that they have the mindset that they want to foster community and bring people together, not actually being in charge and being in control of anything. Being a resident council leader, your job is to serve the community, not the other way around.
And that has not been the experience.
No, that hasn't been the experience. And mainly the problems that we have with resident councils and Opportunity Home residents in general is resident relations issues, such as one person not liking another and try to give their neighbor a hard time.
Heard that. Jeff yesterday also had similar feelings about the need for a residents council to be able to address these types of issues, along with the issues of Opportunity Home not following their side of contracts and leases and stuff.
Yes, another job for resident council members is to advocate for residents. It's a real good leadership role, because if you have the ability to advocate with somebody, you have the direct line to management to be able to do so.
And you said, so here right now there's resident council elections going on.
Yes, currently we have resident council elections. Our election is going to be I believe, around the first week of November. And the problem with that is there's some individual residents here that don't want a resident council. These residents are former council members that had basically taken the council positions from somebody else before, and then realized that they couldn't perform the jobs and resigned. And they asked that there won't be a resident council here, and they devise plans to prevent people from voting, such as intimidation, the spreading of rumors, even having people on the street approaching individuals running. And it's became a dangerous situation when Opportunity Home allowed this to happen. Mr. Joel Tovar, he's aware of what's happening. They did it in front of him, and they decided not to respond.
He didn't respond.
What I meant about didn't respond, he didn't correct it, right? The theology of Opportunity Home is to provide opportunities to all residents and for them not to feel scared or intimidated. But they didn't do anything to stop the residents that are intimidating and causing a danger among their peers.
As far as these residents who want no council at all, do they have a viable alternative?
There ain't no alternative. They believe that they can do it on their own. But if no council is elected in, and then the people that did all the bullying and intimidation is the ones that's doing the activities here, then that's the type of response that we're going to get. There's going to be more infighting, there's going to be more intimidation, and people would have to resort to social isolation.
Right. Do you think that once after the elections happen, what are some ways to bring the community together, regardless of if there's a residents council or not?
Well, I personally believe if you tear a community in half, it's almost impossible to put it together again, right? And if there is a council, I believe through our actions and through the way we treat people, we could determine if we can come together as a whole, right? If there ain't no council, all hope for reconciling is done.
Yeah. Is it pretty split up, would you say, at this point, like as far as specific groups?
Yeah, it became a racial situation in which it's Hispanic residents, not all Hispanic residents, but some Hispanic residents, a small group of them, against everyone else. And they believe that, this small group of residents believe that if a resident council is put in, it should be a Hispanic a resident council, because we live here on the south side of San Antonio. And they said that they don't have a representation if somebody other than them are elected.
Yeah, what's the reasoning that they have behind not wanting, like, why don't they want to just run for the resident?
Well, the thinking behind it all is these 5 particular individuals, previous council members, who's stirring up everyone else, right? They would go in there and spread misinformation wherever they could. And because they believed that they could pretty much control the psyche of most of the people here, you have people you don't even know, they approach you and they're angry, right? And when they're angry, they tend to vote a certain way. And when they're angry, they tend to treat people a certain way. And after the elections is over, just like last time, they said, hey, this guy ain't bad at all, you know. Like during the winter storm, the San Antonio Tenants Union and myself, we contacted state representatives, we contacted politicians to say, hey, we need help. And they brought food, right? And when nobody knew what else to do, we came together, and the city came to help us. Now, the winter storm is over, and they tell me, well, Mr. Hamilton didn't do anything. It's the politicians that bought that food. Yeah. It's Vanessa Villagran that helped us. And there was no appreciation for anybody stepping up when we were in danger.
Right, and the collective.
Yes, the collective.
Went into that. They tried to steal all of that power, which is just so common.
They were the resident council.
So they know the politics about how to get everybody to think and shift a certain way and intimidate them.
Yes, they use intimidation and rumors, just flat up lying and trying to confuse the people.
Which is a shame, because there's so much to be heard from all of the residents in buildings like this.
Yes, yes. You know, the resident council is about bringing people together and not tearing them apart. And basically that's what they're doing. They're tearing the residents apart.
That's frustrating. And you've gone to Opportunity Home.
They actually came to us. They had a meet and greet. And Director of Federal Public Housing, which is Joel Tobar, that's also the CDI Director, he stood right there and seen them doing it with their own eyes and said that, well, we're not going to tear the community up any further. He did no follow-up, right?
Yeah, because he's used to functioning inside of that system where it's like, yeah, even if they give us space to be heard, it's like that's the extent of it. Like it's like, all right, we did our job, we heard the community, we can step back now and continue on with whatever else we have going on, because this is too complex. This is too complex of a problem.
Yes.
To try to manage, which is very much like housing in San Antonio. This is like our 4th time trying to record this video because of my camera. And so this is like our 4th time talking about this, but about, you know, how the housing crisis in San Antonio under Mayor Nierenberg has only gotten exponentially worse. Homelessness has gotten so much worse. The waiting list for Opportunity Home SA has gotten so much worse. And the mayor came in 5.5 2.5 years ago on the premise that he was going to fix housing, and instead it's gotten so much worse because they only focus on supply and development.
The question I have is the mayor, he's fixing housing from whom? Is he fixing housing for the people that need the help the most, or is he trying to provide all these homes for the rich and middle class?
Who our tax money in City Hall goes to recruiting people who are higher income so that they can increase their tax base. So they really have no intention of addressing displacement
No.
or housing costs whatsoever. They want the costs to go up because then they get more tax revenue.
I personally believe if housing is ever going to be fixed, it's going to be with a new mayor.
It has to be.
Yes.
It has to be. And so our mayor also controls Opportunity Home SA, controls our public housing authority, because he has 100% authority to choose every single person on their board of commissions.
Yes. He chooses the hierarchy, the upper echelon of the Saha. And him having the ability to do that, he puts cronies in that does his bidding.
You just said in the last video we tried to record how you tried applying for the board.
Yes, I applied for the board.
I had.
Yes, I applied for the Saha board, and I was turned down twice. The reasoning for it is, well, maybe you could apply for some other board within the city. I haven't heard nothing from anybody, right? But basically, he put people in those positions he knows is gonna do what he says, right? Now, the Saha board is supposed to intercede for residents, right? They don't even answer our phone calls and emails.
They don't. Every single time I go to one of their meetings, there is never discussion, there is never disagreement. They just go through the agenda and pass everything. You can look back at all of the agendas. It's yes, 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 yes for every single thing.
Yes, absolutely. And you know, those people were selected for a reason. Those people were selected because of their ability to vote yes to whatever the mayor wants.
For Charles Guzman,
Yes, Guzman, she's the wife of his campaign manager.
of the mayor's campaign manager.
There should be a conflict of interest there, but there's not. You know, lady, you need to resign today.
That's what I'm saying. I was just looking at the Texas state codes yesterday, and there is a whole section, I screenshot it on my phone, about like if she's not doing her job, she needs to be removed.
Yes.
And so, watch out. Charles Guzman. And then what that does is, even though we have this CEO of Opportunity Home SA now, because we ran the other one out for not doing his job, so Eddie Hinojosa, Mr. Eddie Hinojosa came in as the new CEO, supposed to care about the tenants of Opportunity Home.
He started out good.
He started out
Yeah,
good.
he was listening. He had an ear. He said he wanted to help. But now he got these invisible handcuffs.